how do we keep the salespeople focused on the products that sell the most? You got to be flexible.
And you're leveraging the strengths of the either individual salesperson or the distributor. That makes sense.
It's something you've got to work on all aspects within your whole company.
Welcome to Building Your Sales Engine. I'm your host, Mark McGraw. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Building Your Sales Engine. This is Mark McGraw, your host. Hey, today I sit down with Peter Ashley, who's VP at Applied Information, and they have been using and selling through distribution for years. And man, you talk about some insights and some ideas. So be on the lookout for like how to gain mind share through distribution, how to manage, what's the cadence and the frequency, how to adapt to the different personalities that you have, not only within the entities of distribution channels, but also the individual salespeople. He's got some great insight, some great information for sure. Hey, if you want the show notes, if you want the summary, please reach over to the website, buildingyoursalesengine.com, and you'll be able to see the handouts for all of those. And as always, if there's anything that you need from us here at Sandler Sales Engine, do reach out. Talk soon, and let's jump into the podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Building Your Sales Engine. I'm here with Peter Ashley of AI. So looking forward to the conversation with you about selling through distribution. Peter, welcome.
Thanks very much, Mark. Appreciate being here and enjoying some time in your fantastic studio that you guys have built here. It's
you
really
guys
impressive.
Inspired us to do this. I don't know if you know that or not, but all of your videos that you've done on YouTube and the work that you've done. And, we'll put in the show notes a link over to some of the stuff that you guys done because you're brilliant. You guys are brilliant at generating leads through things like, similar to podcasts or YouTube shows and channels. You guys have lights out, best I know at that.
Oh, much appreciated. We've been working with various different great companies, similar ones that you've been working with, Carbon Films and Mike Robertson. And, they do such a fantastic job of this, and they make us look really good.
Yeah, same here. And we'll put contact for Mike in there as well into the notes as well. But so our topic together today is selling through distribution, and this is always an interesting thing. And one thing I think it's good to say right up front is, not everybody sells through distribution. Sometimes people are selling direct, but distribution. Just to take a second on this, if it really, it's called a lot of different things: selling through manufacturers, reps, or agents, or third parties, or partners, or channel partners. It seems like there's 100 names, all a little bit different, but still similar in the sense that with AI, you guys and your company are not always directly selling to the customer. So why don't we start with a little bit of background on what you guys are doing and how you're selling through distribution?
So we're in the traffic technology space. And what that is actually we provide technology that goes into emergency vehicles and goes into traffic signals, and we give emergency vehicles green lights. So it's a really cool space. I mean, literally we saving on an emergency vehicle about 60 seconds to 90 seconds per trip. So it's a pretty cool technology space to be in. But at the same time, how do you scale that out? You can go create whatever technology you have, but scaling it out, especially in an industry that's been dominated by certain players, you've got to have the right partners. And for us, when we came into this space, we said, well, how can we expand without creating a massive sales team and huge investment money? How do we go out and expand into this industry? So, we took a concerted effort to court the right distribution or partners, whatever you want to call it, who would be able to sell our products through their areas. And specifically in our industry, generally it's dominated by distribution that have been in this business. It's family-owned businesses that have been selling in the Southeast for 4 generations. So they got these long-standing relationships with cities and departments of transportation. And that was our way of getting in there with their relationships and being able to sell through their existing relationships. Because most of the times people aren't even going to open the door for us.
Yeah.
But when I walk in there with that distributor who's been helping them for 50 years, that door's opened.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And if you, in some cases, people try to go direct and they hire somebody, who has some experience in it, that they don't have all of those relationships. And by the way, I don't know if I'll just throw this out. I managed through distribution for 18 years as well. And that was one of the big things that we saw. As for why people sell through distribution, another big one that we saw is that if somebody is a channel partner or they're a distributor and they are meeting with an end user, the end user will say something in passing about another product that they're working on or another project, and the channel partner would be like, "Hey, wait a minute, we might be able to help you with that." So they're aware of a lot of things that people are doing that you're not going to be as aware of. If you're selling direct and you only have one product to go sell. So it sounds like that's the path that you guys have been on, and I know it's been a successful path because you guys have grown tremendously over the years.
Yeah, we've been very successful with our distribution. We, started off. We're based in Alpharetta, so we started off here in the Southeast, and we managed to get. Sometimes you're lucky. One of our biggest competitors decided to cancel the distribution for our biggest distributor now and left them in a hole. And we're a technology company. We weren't in the space of giving green lights to emergency vehicles. We were doing remote traffic cabinets, and we were doing school zone flashes when the beacons turn on and off. And it was an interesting opportunity. They called us up. Absolutely. And we ended up getting into this business of giving green lights to emergency vehicles because they got cut off.
Yeah.
And because their relationships were so strong, all of the opportunities that they had, they were able to convert over to our technology. And don't get me wrong, I think our technology was better than the competition, of course. But it was their relationships that were able to convert those over. So for us, it was quite a lucky thing. And then, our successes, you can build on successes of different distributors in different areas and build that up into different sort of territories that you go into. And for us, our axis of growth over these years has been 3 areas. There's selling more to existing customers. There's selling into new geographical expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's creating new products to sell to those 2 different areas. And so we're very strong in the Southeast, very strong in Texas, and then we're getting Florida. Florida's Texas and Florida are number 1 and number 2 markets. Yeah. But at the same time, what you do in Florida does not correlate to California. They don't care. Yeah. They want to know what have you done in California. So it's even though you're doing business in all these different areas, most people want to know what's happened locally.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to solve.
Again, that helps with distribution because the relationships are there and that people know each other and all the above. By the way, one side note, you mentioned something a minute ago that I think is super important, and just take a second on it, is I've seen organizations go from a channel partner relationship to direct. And man, the minute that you do that, let's just say this, it always raises concerns with all of the other distributors. Maybe they do it in one region or not another, but there should be a really strong level of trust between a manufacturer and their channel partners. And the minute you sever that by putting direct people in and vice versa, it just creates question and turmoil in your distribution channel. Just throw that out.
You're 100% right. We have never, ever gone around our distribution. We've never sold a project direct. And that has given us the relationship with our distribution that they value our relationship as the number one relationship with all of their partners, because they know that we're never going to go around them, that we're always going to work together. And then it leads to so many other things. The amount of sharing of information that happens with us versus the other partners, because they share something and the other partner says, well, why don't I go direct to that customer and go see if we can do this project and make an extra, 15, 20%.
Nominal amount compared to the relationship breach that you have in there. It's tremendous. I've seen it happen.
It's been super successful for us.
It's a good policy to have when you're working through distribution and channels and partners and all of the. How did you go about choosing the ones that you have? I mean, what if you were thinking about what are the key ingredients to making sure you're choosing the right partner?
As I said, sometimes you're lucky,
which is good.
And we got very lucky here in the Southeast. We met up with a group called Temple. Mm-hmm. And they're based in Decatur, Alabama. And we started selling some systems through in Georgia with their local rep here who introduced us to them. We did some successful deployments here. And then they went, "Ooh, that's quite interesting. Let's expand it." And they expanded us, throughout their area. They introduced us to some of their other partners within the distribution sort of thing. So there were people up in the Northeast that sold similar products that they sold here in the Southeast. So that kind of got us in with a number of different distributors. And that's sort of how we started, was with those relationships. As we've gone on, we've generated a brand, we've generated awareness of our products in the market, that now we're able to look at it at a more holistic level of like, who's really the best distributor in that area?
Yeah.
Because there's some people that have got, it's a small, 5, 10 people within the company. And then the others that they're 100, and they've got manufacturing facilities and all the support and all the rest. So for us, what's important is they've got to have the sales organization that they can cover the areas. And they've got to have the salespeople that are the go-getters, the people that are going to knock on doors, the people that are going to really run around and actually make calls on these people. And don't get me wrong, all salespeople are different. So that's one of the other things, is you're going to pick a distribution and they're going to have 3 or 4 strong salespeople, and they're going to have 1 or 2 that aren't as strong as some of the others, or just aren't as interested in your product. Now you got to work on those people as well.
Yeah, that has absolutely been what I've seen as well, is that, and I say this with love, the quality of the salespeople will vary. That's true in all organizations, probably as true or maybe even more in a distributor and a partner. Maybe, I mean, don't know for sure, but you definitely have different levels. And it's almost like sometimes, let's say, for example, that there's 7 sellers. I just make up the number. It could be 700. Some of them gravitate to your product. Some of them don't. Not to yours in particular, but just in general, some of them are like interested. I've just seen this over my days. And really, the word that always comes to my mind is Mindshare, in the sense of how do you get the mindshare of these individual people to want to sell your stuff? Any tricks or nuances that you've found on that front?
I could speak for a whole day on Mindshare.
Do you see the same thing? I mean, Mindshare is the word.
It's something you've got to work on all aspects within your whole company. And what I mean by that is Mindshare is created by having good marketing, having a good website. Mindshare is created by traveling with the salespeople and getting them to really understand your product. Mindshare is created by the actual salesperson knowing how to demonstrate your product themselves and being really proficient. Mindshare is also created by having great technical support. So having the technical folks behind the scenes that when a problem happens, especially when you're dealing with technology, problems will happen, that you've got the resources behind that they can phone up and will solve it quickly for them. So now they know that when they deployed your equipment, it was easy, it was quick, they could go get paid quickly, and now they can move on to the next one. And they know that that support behind the scenes coming.
And on that front, the thing that I pick up with that is that wherever you can, as a provider selling through distribution, to reduce the friction that the distributor has to deal with. And I got this from the CEO of HubSpot, and she said, every day we wake up to increase velocity and reduce friction.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's a simple way of looking at it, and especially selling through distribution. Just always seems to me is how do you reduce friction and make it easy for them to go sell? Therefore, you're getting more mind share for them because it's an easy way to go, sell and make money.
So 100%, because what we do, just on a technology side, what's been happening in like our industry is people end up buying boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're buying a box that controls a traffic light. And what ends up happening is the distribution needs to take that box off the shelf. They need to put it in the traffic cabinet. They need to plug in a cable. They need to program it. They need to touch buttons. And they spend a whole bunch of time at a traffic signal just setting things up because, that's the normal process. And then you got to get it communicating to a traffic management center and get all these things connected. What we did was we provided a solution. So our solution includes a box that goes into the cabinet, provides remote communications. It includes the cellular communication. It includes the central system that you can access through your smartphone or wherever. And everything comes pre-configured. The ease button, hit the easy button.
Yeah.
So when they deploy it, they put it in, they plug it all in, and everything works. Now, what is more difficult on our side is we ask them for all the information up front. Where is this getting deployed? What are the IP addresses of all the different components in the cabinet? How does the traffic move around here? And then we have our team pre-configure everything. So when you deploy it, and now you're sitting there with a customer and you hit the power on, and boom, everything just starts working.
Yeah.
There's nothing that like that low friction delivery there just makes it so much easier than everybody else. Everybody else wants to make everyone an expert. And it's a high friction delivery because the guy's dealing with being outside and it's 100 degrees and he's trying to program something up and it isn't working and he's got a customer standing over his shoulder. That's a high friction area, and people are like, well, why can't you get this working? So we do a lot of work up front, and that's just on the technology side.
And that's, I think you're bringing up something that's easy for people to overlook, and that is that if you have a distributor or a channel partner over here, one of the key things that they're trying to do at all times is protect the relationship that they have with the end user. Because in many cases, what we're selling is only a small percentage. Sometimes it's a big percentage, but oftentimes it's a small percentage of all the things that they're selling to that end user. So if they sell something that, let's say we were to sell something to the end user through the distributor and it doesn't go well, that distributor's reputation is bruised. And as a result of that, they don't want to necessarily take on another one of those because the relationship that they have with their end user, in some cases, is far more important than the relationship that they have with the supplier. Not in all. Again, it's not.
No, you're 100% right. Their job is to protect their customers.
Absolutely.
And you got to make sure that you back them up in that approach because we're in 1,500 cities now, and we don't have any that are going, oh, we've got to do something. If there is a problem, we'll go out there and we'll fix it because there will be problems. There's always problems. It's technology. It's business. There's going to be some kind of business problem. But how you react to that sets it up that now all of a sudden they've got faith in you. They're going to continue to promote your product. They're going to give you more mind share because they know, hey, remember we had that problem? These guys solved it. When we dealt with the previous partner, they didn't solve it. They left us in the They left us to just deal with it ourselves. So that's a key aspect behind this.
I'm having a moment here because I'm thinking about something maybe for the first time, which is always dangerous, Peter, especially when we're recording. If you hire a W-2 employee to go sell for you, they work for the manufacturer. They work for the company. It's clear. It's right on the front of the check. The distributor or the partner almost works more for the customer than they do for the supplier, for their own company. Simply for the fact that they have their revenue streams are coming from all of these other products that they're selling. It's not just you and your company. They're selling other people's products, and they have to protect that relationship. So it's superior. The relationship with the end user, in some cases, that's a more superior relationship than it is between the distributor and the manufacturer. And I think that ties back to Mindshare because you're always trying to reduce friction and make it easier for them, the distributor, to look good in front of the customer so that they want to sell more, that they sell more product.
What we did was we flipped that around as well. So our platform, yes, we do emergency vehicles getting green lights, and we connect up to school zones, and we connect up to pretty much everything a city does. So what we did was we said, let's go and support all of our distributors' products. Let's integrate them into our platform.
Oh, nice.
So every product that they sell works better with our platform.
Interesting.
And so what that means is every single time they deploy our system, it means they can come in and sell their other products into those different organizations, cities.
Again, you're reducing friction.
And it means that once they get our platform deployed, it's easier for them to now put in a video detection camera or whatever other battery backup system that they provide, because it works together with our Glance platform. That's the platform that we provide that connects to everything. And over time, it allows them to sell more of our product, but also more of all of their existing products. So that Mindshare, we're trying to make it so that they're always talking about your Glance system will work better with this camera, will work better with this battery backup, will work better with this school zone. And therefore, each time they're setting something new to the city, it includes our services.
Yeah. Makes sense. And it makes sense. And one of our clients refers that to their ecosystem. That is, you're making it easy because everything plugs and plays and operates.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a minute ago something I think it deserves a couple minutes of discussion around, and that is that your distributor does the demo, or they demo the product. So certainly we have clients, and certainly the situations where that's the case. Other times, maybe the manufacturer or the provider demos the product. How do you go about defining the responsibilities of who's responsible for what? Things like who does the demo, who's supposed to generate leads, because sometimes that's both sides as well. Who's going to work with the customer sort of as you get towards the end and applications and such. Any insight as to how you guys handle that?
It's shared responsibilities. So from our side, and also it depends distributor to distributor. Some distributors need more hand-holding. Yeah. So some of the times we do a lot of the demos ourselves. It's also dependent on salesperson to salesperson. So we've got various different salespeople that we just leave them be, and they call us when they need us. Yeah. Where we've got others that, they've got a demo. Hey, can you join us on this? Or, hey, there's a big project. What I normally do is when there's smaller opportunities, leave the guys be, let them go through the process and bring it in, and then they'll let us know when they need us. When it's a massive opportunity and millions of dollars, I want to be involved.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be involved because those are critical, and I will join them down. We'll fly down. We'll meet with the customer directly when it's those big opportunities. So I think it's a bit of give and take.
But what I hear in there is actually two things. One is, it would be easy for a manufacturer to say carte blanche against all of my distribution channel. They're responsible for this. We're responsible for that. And it's the same set of rules for every distributor. But you and I both know not every distributor or channel partner, however we want to call it, they're not all created equal. Some are better technically and maybe not as good on the sales side, or maybe they're great in both. Some are really awesome on the sales and relationship side and okay technically. And so what I hear, number one in there is we should be meeting with every distributor individually and building a plan for how we would best work together, individually, as opposed to the manufacturer saying, here's a rule that has to apply against all manufacturers or all distributors.
Even regionally and salesperson specific.
Interesting.
So we're super successful down in the Southeast, but not everywhere in the Southeast.
Yeah.
And in Florida, we've got a salesperson and a technical folk that we don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
We go down there and we help them with big projects and things like that, but they just run around and do that. And then we've got other distribution who are brilliant at sales, but not as good as technically, even within their organization. So we know that we're going to have to provide more technical support for that particular area because they're just not as good. So you've got to be flexible, and that's the thing.
And you're leveraging the strengths of the either individual salesperson or the distributor. That makes sense.
Exactly. And you can't expect everyone to be the same. You can't expect every salesperson to be the same. And you have to treat each salesperson differently.
Yeah.
Because we've spent a huge amount of time and effort on training. And we created a whole virtual training platform with about 550 different videos on there, all these 2-minute long segments where people could watch and they could learn about how to use our products, also how to sell our products. So we had fire chiefs coming in. How do we sell to them? We had Sandler come in. How do you create a 30-second commercial on this? So Josh Pitchford joined in and helped us, what are the questioning strategies you should use? What is the pain funnel? How do you use it? Certain people will go in and learn from that. But then there are other individuals who only learn in person.
Yeah.
So you've got to meet those people where they are. And some of them don't even learn in person in a group setting. They only learn in person on a one-on-one basis. So we've been figuring out that we've got to meet these people. And once you meet them one-on-one, but it takes a lot of your time. Once you meet them one-on-one, all of a sudden they get it. And now all of a sudden, now they're going and they're running and they're going, I understand it. Whereas in that group setting, they didn't feel comfortable enough to ask the question. They didn't quite get that concept or whatever it is. So the training aspect actually has to be tailored per salesperson.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, don't get me wrong, you get the 15, 20% of people that are the 18 players that you give them virtual training and they watch all the videos and they just run with it. And they're better than you. Just go, oh my God, that's amazing. But then you've got the other group of people that just, they're not quite there and they're not interested in watching a video. They won't sit down and do that.
And at the end of the day, I think what we end up doing is not only are we selling the end user, we're also selling the channel partner. And we're not just selling the entity of the channel partner, we're selling every person in the channel partner's organization.
You got to customize it. So we started to do customized presentations per salesperson.
Yeah.
So we actually we have a base presentation, whatever, but part of our strategy of getting Mindshare is we do video. Okay, we do video quite well. So we'll go down, we'll do video showcases on their cities, on their customer. So if you go onto our YouTube channel for Applied Information, you'll be able to see every one of our channel partners has a video on why they're the greatest channel partner and how they use a little bit of Applied Information, of course. But more important is their customers saying how great it is to work with Temple and with Applied Information, because then we got this from Sandler, to be honest, it's a third-party reference.
Yeah.
And no one wants to hear what you have to say as a salesperson or me, but a third-party fire person or fireman or fire chief says, we did this system and it's working great for us. All of a sudden, all of those questions of, hey, where have you deployed this before? What have you done? Does it work? Doesn't it work? Well, you just saw one of your neighbors that has deployed this. I know I can trust you because I know him And he said, you're a good guy.
Yeah, you've reduced the risk significantly of them screwing up, and they've got a third party testimonial from somebody else like them who's maybe in the same city or same state. You mentioned that earlier.
It's got to be the same state as them. Things from Florida does not translate over to Louisiana.
Interesting.
That
was a big lesson. I remember you learning that.
We learned, because we kept on showing videos in Florida and Texas, and they're like, we don't care what Florida does.
When people watch those things, it's like, well, that's not me. They're looking for why, whatever case study or testimonial or whatever it is. And so that's a great insight that you guys have figured out. And so
we've spent a huge amount on video advertising and going down and creating all these videos because we've figured out that people consume information in different manners. Some people go to websites. Some people read manuals, some people read brochures, but the big thing people going towards right now is video. Everybody's consuming, and you've got long form videos, you've got the short form videos, and you've got to do it all to get that message out and get people actually understanding. And then you making your salesperson's job easier, because in his custom presentation is a video of one of his cities that's deployed emergency vehicle preemption, and he plays it during his presentation. First of all, it means I know the message is coming through perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I know we crafted that message, and the message is coming from a third-party reference. So now when he starts talking about how do we actually deploy this, how do we do a demo, how do we do all of that, it's a much warmer sort of, all right, let's go into the design phase, not the selling phase.
Yeah, it's you're reducing friction through the sales process.
But it's got to be tailored to the different salespeople.
I love the fact that you're taking those messages and you're tailoring it to the salesperson. When you manage, this is another element, is managing the relationship over time and managing deals, because you can talk about a specific project or a specific deal, but a lot of times there might be 10, 20, 100, 500, whatever it is, deals in the pipeline. What are some of the best practices you found in terms of managing the relationship and managing sort of the day-to-days and pipelines? And that's a lot, but what have you seen there?
It's always better to pick up the phone, talk to people. What we do is we have a kind of a bi-weekly or monthly, depending how big the distribution is, call that we go through the whole pipeline. We focus on the short-term ones, any new leads that they brought in. And that's the difficulty. You got to have the trust there for them to share this to you. That's why never going behind their back and doing all those things, because then they do share all of that information. Part of that is we take all of those opportunities they have and we do marketing around those areas.
Okay.
So now, all right, you feed us information, we're feeding it to the marketing department, which is then doing localized advertising around that area to help you sell more.
Social advertising
around that area. Now, all of a sudden, so now they feel like, hey, I'm getting something out of this. Because for every single time you take information, you need to give information in some kind of way. Otherwise, people don't want to just give.
Yeah.
So we do that with our distribution. And we also have a dealer meeting. So all of our dealers come to us once a year, where we get all of the salespeople and so on. And we also have an executive dealer meeting where all the executives come in and we talk about strategy. So one of those things is we listen a lot to them. So if they tell us, hey, we really think you should be doing development in this area, we listen to them and we develop in that area. And now all of a sudden, it actually puts them under a bit of pressure. Because if they say, hey, we want you to develop this product to do this, and we do it for them, now they better go out and sell it.
Yeah.
But we've been very successful with our distribution in that manner because our distribution is closer to the customer than we are. And they're closer to the customer on multiple different fronts because we're trying to build a platform that connects to all of these different devices. And they can come back and tell us, hey, this is really where we see the industry going. This is what we think you should do. And we bring in a user group with a couple of customers as well. We deploy it with and we customize the product. so that we're not just going into, hey, here's this new great thing, this new box that we created, and then everybody goes, no, we don't want to buy it.
So especially when they're involved in the idea and the creation and the elements, they have their fingerprints on it. They have ownership of it, and they're more likely to go sell it. By the way, my experience has been it doesn't guarantee that they're going to go sell it, but even if they came up with the idea,
we've had a lot of failures.
That's part of business.
But all you need is a couple of successes to make it really successful. The other key thing is, for a company like ours, we're a technology company, so we're always developing something new. And one of the big struggles with our company is, how do we keep the salespeople focused on the products that sell the most? So like, we developed a flood warning system. Great. We sell, if a city deploys it, they buy one or two. But the sales process to sell flood warning is equivalent to selling the school zone flashes, except the city is going to buy 100 of those. Yeah. So you got to keep the salespeople focused on the products that you want them to sell and the volume and so on. So that's been a key aspect behind us, is making sure we keep our message constant on those core product lines, that we can build from there out to deploying these other types of things. Otherwise, salespeople like to sell the new shiny toy. And sometimes that's not the right thing. Go out and sell the thing that does the best job.
And the trick there always is, to me, is the fact that they are not a direct line employee that's a direct employee. So you really have to do all of that through personal relationships and getting to know people individually, not just the distributor as an entity, but each individual within it's a lot of selling. It's a lot of building relationships, and it's a lot of learning how to influence people that don't work directly for you, through the process. And it's a different tact. It's a different sales person that can do that, to go pull that off. So,
and you got to have some kind of incentive. So we got a great incentive for the successful salespeople. If they hit a target, they get to fly to Africa with their wives and go on an all expenses paid trip to our Cape Town operation. They get to go on a safari, and it's an amazing experience. So there's also incentive. The biggest thing that we figured out from that is, almost every company incentive is always just for the individual. And then they go on like a work trip and they go wherever they go, which is great. But then you're leaving your family behind.
Yeah.
So the funny thing was, we found out that once these guys go on this trip, their wives push them more, and they say, well, why aren't you out on the road selling? You better get back on that trip, because I want to go back to Africa and have a fantastic time there, because it was all designed around bringing people together. And actually, there's a whole bunch of other beneficial things, like the relationships between the different partners. You can see how they reconnect, because there's no kids, there's no distractions. It's in the bush.
Amazing, the power of the family. It is. We have some friends, and there's a story there that the husband is a salesperson, the wife, very driven person. And she's at home. Salesperson father comes home at 3:00. She looks at him and says, "Workday's not over. Get on back out there." And so that's been, get on back out there, and that's the motivation that you're tapping into with that, which is a super powerful thing to have just all of these forces helping you through it. So
it's never just one thing. The thing is, like, and we always like to look at this, every opportunity, because we're dealing with government agencies, and these things are very long term. You got to move all your chess pieces into the right places. You don't know what item or what thing is actually going to finally sell your solution. But if you can move all your chess pieces into the right positions and let it fall where it falls, sometimes you can't just kick someone into submission to purchasing, but you can convince them by having a video of their neighbor that's now done something so well. And they're like, oh, how come they doing so well? And the mayor says, why are they doing this and we not? You don't know if that's the thing, or, hey, we deployed a demo and the demo went really well. So there's all these different aspects. It's a multifaceted thing when you're setting complex systems
Totally
into
true.
an environment where sometimes there are multiple different decision makers at multiple different levels. You got to try touch to all of them.
I mean, a complex sale is not one sale. It's 100 small sales that are made to different people within the organization. And those stack up to a win at the end, but it's a whole bunch of little things that happen.
All small things.
All
Agreed.
small things. Peter, this has been great, my friend. We'll have you back and go do this because I get the feeling we could probably do several more episodes around this. And it's such a big topic for people in terms of selling through distribution and channels and partners and the like. So, and it's not talked about enough in the world of sales. So appreciate you sharing your insights and look forward to having you back.
Appreciate it, Mark. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm sure this is on LinkedIn. They can reach out to me there. And obviously, if you don't know this, we've been long-standing partners, I want to call this, with Sandler. Currently today, I think my sales team had a session earlier this morning. The sales manager is actually here as well, unbeknownst to me. And obviously, Mark and I are busy doing this. So we're big proponents of Sandler. Sandler's been great for our company. And you can hear how we've taken some of those concepts of Sandler, third-party references, all these different things, and built it into our whole ecosystem of how we actually go about selling. Might not be the exact way that you envisioned it originally, but we're just building it in, and it's a great selling system. And just the way the mindset is a great sort of way to utilize all this knowledge that you guys have.
I so appreciate that, Peter. I do indeed. You guys have been great partners with us and grateful for the relationship.
Thanks very much, Mark.
You too, bud. So, hey, I hope you've gotten a ton of value out of this episode. By far, it's our purpose to help people make money and have fun and have a good time. We're here to help improve your life, to help you make it easier to go sell or to manage your sales team, and ultimately to go build your own sales engine. Don't miss an episode. Best way to go do that is to make sure that you jump out to buildingyoursalesengine.com/follow, where you can link up to all of our latest episodes. For more information about this episode, go to buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can download show notes, transcripts, and other information, including handouts, snapshots of this and other episodes. If you'd like to connect with us to talk about how we can help you build your sales engine, and you are either located in the state of Georgia or are referred to us by one of our clients or affiliated by one of our clients, please reach out to us at buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can click there to book some time with us. We can find out how we can be of help with one another. If you're not in either of those two circumstances, please reach out to Sandler.com, where you can find a Sandler office near you. Be well.